I'm officially considered a retired school psychologist. And what that brings up is really, it's been a lot of surprise to me of what it does bring up. I never really thought I was that attached to a profession or, having some title about myself. But I realized I sort of was in this nowhere place, like, well, what am I? I'm not a school psychologist. And the funny thing is, I've always felt a little funny saying out loud that I'm a Zen priest, because I don't know what that means. And the only thing I can say now is that I'm a Zen priest. And in my mind, a priest is somebody who is, I don't know, doing all kinds of different activities within the priesthood. I don't know. And especially being a Buddhist priest in the West, for me, it's always been like, I don't really know what that is. I have this idea of what it means to be a Buddhist priest, and it's only an idea, my projection, of what it would be to be a Buddhist priest in Japan or in China or Thailand or any place where there's a lay community that has some idea about what you are. If it's accurate or not is sort of irrelevant. But whenever I tell somebody who's not Buddhist, and I don't go around, just saying to everybody, oh, by the way, hey, I'm a Zen priest. It's just when it comes up in a normal way. They always have this sort of blank look on their face. And most of the time, I just let them have that blank look. I don't really say much about it because I don't even know what to say. And if they ask questions, then I say a little bit more about what it means. Oh, sorry about that. I say more about what my activity is. I don't try to give meaning to it. I just talk a little bit about what that is. And I still feel like it never really gets understood at all, because what I usually say is, well, I spend a lot of time doing meditation. I don't usually say zazen because they would have even less idea what that was. So that I do zazen, or I do meditation. And sometimes that just sort of stops the conversation in sort of a comfortable way, and then we move on to whatever else we were going to talk about. Or sometimes they ask other questions about, in their mind, what a priest might be doing. The kind of silly things about marriages, and, well, they're not silly, but those sort of ordaining things that they imagine. But not much is asked about what the practice does for me, or why, or it's just sort of like, okay, you do that. And everyone that I've worked with, and even in the little bit of consultation work I'm doing now, they all know that I go to Ongo every year. That they don't know it's called Ongo, but they know that I'm gone at least for the month of July, sometimes longer, and that I do meditation. And no one has ever asked me a question about it. So I don't know if they think I'm, at a spa. I don't really know what they think, but they do always say, oh, how do you feel? Are you relaxed? And I sort of kind of avoid that question because, as you all know, because everyone in here has sat, it's not so much of a spa. And I may feel great a little while afterwards, but usually right afterwards, my body's a little bit sore, and there's just those things. So spa doesn't come up, it's not really the way I would describe it. So at the end of this Ongo, I'm sort of in this place of, who am I? What am I doing? What kind of commitment have I been making? And the question came up for me of what is practice? So why do I practice? And I remembered something about a trip we had to Japan a while ago, and a monk asked Ento, "Why do you practice?" Ento replied, "To calm my crazy mind and to die well." And for those of you who know me pretty well, you know I have probably one of the worst memories in the world, and I've never forgotten that. And it was just that one little statement. That's the only time I think I've ever heard you say it. But it really stayed with me. And it's such a simple response. But so precise. I mean, we could build on it. We could get a lot more detail, but that's it. Everything is right there to calm our crazy minds. And therefore, everything goes well, and then we die well. What more is there to want?